Well, welcome to Rangers baseball, which is presented by AT&T, and they're just getting ready now to get underway. Andrew Cashner has taken his warm-ups and he's doing some final wardrobe preps, and he will be ready to go. The Rangers will take the field here in just a minute. This game will finally get underway. Rain delay here, of course. Lots of showers, some thunder that was in the area. It is now gone. We see Jeff Bannister there. The ponchos are out. Can't imagine they're going to last a very long time. Those are probably good for a couple of innings, but hopefully they don't have to use those anymore, because there will hopefully be no more rain here this evening in Arlington. And there is Andrew Cashner. Big deep breath as he gets ready to make his second start since coming off the disabled list. And we'll take a look at the Boston Red Sox lineup and those that will be going up against Andrew Cashner. And some good news here. Mookie Betts is hitting leadoff, but he's struggled so far in this series. Just 1 for 10. Mitch Moreland, the former Ranger, you see what he has done so far against his former club. 8 for 13. That's .615 batting average against the Rangers.
And for Andrew Cashner, we'll take a look at his pitch arsenal, the pitches he features when he's on the mound. 59% of the time he'll throw a sinking fastball that averages out in the low 90s. He'll throw a changeup, a cutter, and a curveball. But predominantly when he's throwing well and you're a hitter, you can expect to get a good hard sinker down around the knees. And Andrew's hoping that you're going to hit a ground ball with it. Rangers defense is delivered to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. Carlos Gomez is in center. Shin-Soo Choo getting a chance to play a lot in right field, which moves Nomar Mazara over to left field. Jurickson Profar gets to start at shortstop tonight. Rougned Odor is at second. Adrian Beltre is at third. Joey Gallo is over at first. Jonathan Lucroy is behind the plate. Elvis Andrus with paternity leave tonight, expecting his first child, a little boy, and Jurickson gets the call.
One of those great rules that they have instituted in Major League Baseball, where now a player can leave, they call it that paternity leave list, and that'll give him up to 72 hours. So we are certainly wishing the best for Elvis Andrus and his bride Corey as they get ready to welcome their first child into the world, and we'll be thinking about him, but an opportunity at least here in the short term for Jurickson Profar. You saw him there and getting that start now at shortstop, and we're just about ready to get underway. You should see Mookie Betts making his way into the box, and first pitch will be here. Much anticipated first pitch will be here in no time.
Well, Mookie Betts midway through the season, another outstanding season, it looks like. Start to a good one. Last year, Mookie Betts had an outstanding year, hit 30 home runs plus, knocked in 100 runs, hit 40 doubles, stole 25 or 30 bases. Almost won the MVP last year, and he's having another great season this year.
And the first pitch from Andrew Cashner is a strike at 94 miles an hour, and we are underway.
Last year, Mookie Betts, I think, had 41 or 42 doubles. He's on his way to over 50 doubles this year.
And there's a two-hopper back to Andrew Cashner. He fields it, throws to first, and just like that, 2 pitches into this game, there's 1 out for Andrew Cashner.
That's a nice play by Andrew Cashner. Tall guy, 6'4", 6'5", pretty agile for a big guy. Took that ball and kept it from going up the middle. Let's see where it would have gone. Rougned might have been able to get that, but he would have had a hard time going over to first base and getting Mookie Betts.
And I owe you a hop. I said 2. It was 1. Make sure we take 1 away from the next multi-hopper ground ball. 76 degrees at game time. When it was all said and done, it was an hour and 26-minute delay. First pitch was delivered at 8:31, and now Dustin Pedroia steps in. See his numbers there, 301 batting average, having a really nice year, and he has been crushing the Rangers, not just with the bat, but with the glove so far in this series.
It'll be interesting to see how the Rangers handle the top of the lineup today. 2 tough guys. So far, so good. 2 up, 2 down, 2 tappers. Last night, they got the top of the order. They couldn't get the bottom of the order. Bottom of the order lit up the Rangers. So I'll still say stop the top of the order and take your chances with the bomb.
Absolutely. And that is the game plan, and certainly should be. Andrew Cashner is off to a very nice start, as you see Joey Gallo there making that play at first base, and with 2 outs and nobody on. Xander Bogaerts is in there. Back-to-back starts here for Bogaerts, who missed a little bit of time. He was dealing with a strained left groin. Did not go on the disabled list, but he was day-to-day, and we saw Lynn fill in for him a couple of times at shortstop, but it looks like Xander Bogaerts is back to health, and he lines the first pitch down the right field line, out of play. And the 0-1 is popped up into right field. Chu is there. He's got a beat on it. And it is a 1-2-3 inning on just 7 pitches for Andrew Cashner. When we get back, the Rangers will bat in the bottom of the first. First inning, and you see Shin-Soo Choo leading off. We'll get into the entire Southwest batting order here for the Texas Rangers, and you see Carlos Gomez batting in that 2-hole. That's just the second time that he has hit in the 2 spot here for the Rangers, but he does have 18 career home runs out of that slot. Adrian Beltre, you see him and what he has done at home this season to .339 batting average.
Yeah, the arsenal for Doug Fister. Not a hard thrower, big, tall, lanky guy, more of a finesse pitcher. But he throws a sinking fastball. He's hoping to get a lot of ground balls as well. And then he has a pretty equal length. Well, that's a good way to start it. Chu gets hit by a lot of pitches, but that was definitely one that got away from Fister. He's not trying to throw in. John Farrell's thinking he had all that time to warm up, and that's the best pitch you can make on the first pitch.
Maybe too much time to get ready. And you see that one get away from Doug Fister, and so now it'll be a man on first with nobody out for Carlos Gomez. You see Gomez stepping in. Season numbers for him, he has been very good here at Globe Life Park, and I mentioned just his second start hitting in the 2-hole. It's his 55th start overall. All of those games he has been starting in center field, and the 18 home runs he does that he has out of the 2-hole is tied for second most. Most of his home runs in his career have actually come when he is leading off. He takes a 1-0 breaking ball for a strike.
Doug Fister actually fell into a pretty nice situation. He's pitched in the minor leagues, got out of his contract, and signs with a first-place team in the East. Counted to be a bottom of the rotation guy. He's a veteran guy who knows how to pitch. Pretty good spot for him if he can hold his own. He's pitched twice for the Red Sox, 6 innings once, 5 innings another time. Gave up 3 runs in each game. Threw over 100 or 100 or more pitches each game. And you should be pretty excited about this opportunity.
2-1 fastball taken on the corner. Count even now 2-2. Pfister, as you see what he has done here in Globe Life Park over the course of his career, he has struggled now. We said the same thing about David Price, who had an ERA almost at 8 in this ballpark, and he pitched very well last night. So let's not hope Doug Pfister solves his Globe Life Park issues. The fastball on the corner called a strike 3, and Carlos Gomez is down.
Look at the Red Sox defense, and a very good defense it is. We mentioned the Red Sox defense last night. For the year, they rank in the lower part of the defensive standings, but since May 16th, they're the best defensive team in the American League, and we've seen that in this series. The outfield of Benintendi, Bradley, and Betts is terrific. Bogarts and Pedroia up the middle are outstanding. Mitch Moreland's a Gold Glover. Zhu-Wei Lin at third base has held his own in this series. He's played all 3 infield positions. Christian Vasquez is the catcher.
Mazara steps in. You see the 11 home runs for him. The good on base at 328 as he swings at a 1-0 breaking pitch from Pfister.
Well, last night, CJ, when we were talking about the Red Sox defense, we have remarked several times what a good defense it is. And then when you look at the overall stats, it was kind of surprising to see them ranking in the lower half, statistically anyway, defensively. They must have gotten off to a bad start, because since the middle of May, the statistics seem to indicate exactly what the eye would see, that they are a very good defensive team.
We have certainly seen that here firsthand through 2 games. The great play from Andrew Benintendi last night up against the wall. Of course, Dustin Pedroia has made a couple of spectacular plays as well. A lot of these Boston Red Sox defenders have been showing up in the highlight reels with what they have done through 2 games here against the Rangers.
And Mookie Betts made that play in foul territory, came probably as far from right field in toward the dugout to make a play near the stands on the warning track sliding, as you can remember in this ballpark. Great range in the outfield for all of their outfielders. Tough to have one fall in unless you hit it hard.
Mazara way ahead in the count here, 3-1, and he grounds the ball up the middle, but Bogarts flips it to Pedroia over to Moreland, and it is a 6-4-3 double play, and the inning is over. We have played 1 here in Arlington, no score. Showstopper for today, and it is the big man Aaron Judge, who did something pretty special today in Yankee Stadium.
feels like he hits a home run every day. Every time you look, he's hit a home run.
Well, Tom, he did not only break a Yankee record today, he smashed a Yankee record. 29th home run for him against the Blue Jays. That ties Joe DiMaggio's record for most home runs by a Yankee rookie. No, not in the first half, just ever in a year. He did it before the All-Star game.
Got a pretty good chance of having that record, probably by tomorrow.
Well, Mitch Moreland now steps in against Andrew Kashner, who had a 1-2-3-7 pitch inning. And Moreland lifts a lazy fly ball to left field. Nomar Mazara is there. And after all that rain and the 1 hour and 26-minute delay, temperature a little bit cooler, some of that humidity gone, and it turned out to be a pretty nice night for a ball game.
80 degrees at this time of night after the rain. And for Andrew Kashner, a nice start. He's thrown 9 pitches, pounded the strike zone for 8 strikes in those 9 pitches.
Hanley Ramirez takes a first pitch fastball from Andrew Kashner. There's one inside. Ramirez surprisingly better numbers against righties. You think about power hitting right-handed hitters, and a lot of times, especially a guy like Hanley, who does a pretty decent job over the course of his career using the whole field. Usually those guys beat up on lefties pretty good, but he's only hitting .233 against lefties this year, .265 against the righties, and 10 of his 12 home runs have come against right-handed pitching. And he hits a ground ball to the left side. Adrian Beltre is there with plenty of time, and he throws out Hanley Ramirez for the second out here in the second inning.
Well, watching a very good team hit the first 5 hitters in the lineup, it looks like Andrew Kashner is featuring a very heavy ball. Last night's game, we saw Andrew Benintendi play some defense with a very nice play going almost full speed into the wall. And we saw plenty of offense. 5 for 5 in the game. He knocked in 6 runs. He had a home run to right. And somehow this ended up being a home run. A pitch tailing up and away, hit it off the end of the bat, and snuck it right near the foul pole, about a foot over the fence.
Well, it was a big night for Andrew Benintendi, no doubt about it. Both sides of the ball. 5 for 5 when it was all said and done. A couple of home runs, 6 RBIs. He now has a base hit in 6 straight appearances in this series. Of course, he had the big hit, 2 RBI single in the opening game of this series. And so now Andrew Kashner will be dealing with the task of trying to cool off Andrew Benintendi. And let's take a look at our TXU Energy Power player to watch. And it is none indeed Andrew Benintendi. And I mentioned last night the great night that he had. Just the 4th Red Sox rookie in the last 40 years with 6 RBIs in one game. Now, let me ask you a question, Tom. RBI or RBIs when we talk about multiple runs batted at? What do you do?
I'm 100% certain that you should say RBIs with an S.
Nice.
And for 2 reasons.
Nice.
One reason is because Eric Nadel says it, and the other reason is because Vince Scully says it. That's all you need to know. You know, the way I look at it, for 100 years people said RBIs, and then all of a sudden some nerd said it's grammatically incorrect, and baseball people fell into the trap and started saying RBI. To me, it's a perfect example of false hustle.
Yep, I'm with you. It may be grammatically correct. It probably is. But you know what? It just makes more sense. What we've said.
It doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it's baseball lingo. Listen, we can appreciate what some of the smarter advanced metric community's done for the game. There's some good things, but don't mess with our language.
Yeah.
We have a way that we talk. It may be completely wrong, but let us do it.
Yeah.
At least let us have that.
I'll accept something from a baseball person, but not an English professor. At least when it comes to baseball. It just, you say something like he has 20 RBI. It just doesn't sound right.
I'm with you. That was a walk to Andrew Benintendi, and so now Jackie Bradley Jr. will step in with 1 out and Benintendi on first base. pitch, good fastball down from Andrew Kasher, bottom part of the strike zone. Jonathan Lucroy, nice job receiving that pitch. Count even now, 1-1. A lot has been made of Jonathan Lucroy lately, and a lot of it, in my opinion, very overblown about his receiving this year. He has done an excellent job. That's it. Yeah, I know you're going to list one, Tom. We talked about the defensive one yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, the framing numbers are a big one, and it's so funny because
you got to tell me exactly
we're not
how
picking
they do that.
Well, we're not picking on the advanced metric community, but they act like they invented receiving as if that was never an important thing in baseball. We always knew it was important. We just never put a number on it. You knew who could catch well, who could make pitches that are on the edges look really nice to umpires, and you knew who wasn't good at it. It was that simple. Well, they've worked to try to come up with a way to quantify it. There's been a lot of talk about Jonathan Lucroy going backwards. Now we get to watch him all year. You know what he's doing, and he's doing the same thing he's always done. He's got a little bit of a tougher staff to catch. Some more live fastballs than he had with really good movement that he had in Milwaukee, and so because of that, his numbers have suffered early on in the season when Sam Dyson was here, missing with 96 miles an hour on the other side of the plate. Nobody's framing that pitch, not even the best.
Right.
But he would be penalized for it.
Yeah, and framing a ball that's going 95 miles an hour and sinking is not easy to do either. You're just hoping you can catch it in the middle of your glove so you don't break your thumb.
There's been some talk, some columns written around baseball talking about the demise of Jonathan Lucroy, and all very, very premature. He's done a nice job here in Texas as this ball is lined down the left field line, but Nomar Mazara is there. He's got a beat on it, and the inning is over. So it's 2 shutout here so far early for Andrew Kasher. Beltre coming to the plate, and what a night he had in yesterday's game, Tom.
Yeah, I love watching these 3 hits because it pretty much defines him as a hitter. Fastball up and in, pulls it to left for a double. Fastball down the middle, he rips it up the middle. Fastball up and away, he lines it into right field. And that pretty much is what Ranger fans have seen since Adrian came to the Rangers. A guy with the ability to hit all pitches, up, down, inside, outside. Not a consummate bad ball hitter.
And he drives one here in the gap, and that's going to get down into one off the wall. Beltre around first, into second, and he is safe. A leadoff double here in the second inning for Adrian Beltre, the 451st double of his career and the 2,975th hit.
He just hits a lot of different pitches. When you watch him hit, if you're a pitcher, I don't think you can really find a weakness, because right when you think there's a pitch he might be having a problem with and you throw it up and out of the way over the strike zone, he lines it to right field. The pitch that David Price threw him that he doubled on was up and in, not a strike, and he ripped it for a double. He continues to move up the ranks on the doubles list with 601 right behind Cal Ripken, right behind Paul Wainer.
601 now ties him with Barry Bonds for 16th all time as he continues to move up those lists. 450 home runs, 601 doubles, and now 2,975 hits.
Wow. And I think if you're a Ranger fan, you've had a chance to see some really nice players come through Texas, and obviously Adrian's one of them. And you just can't help but think to yourself how fortunate you are as a baseball fan to get to watch him play. If you're a hometown fan 81 times and watch the joy with which he plays the game, the defense he plays, and the way he hits the ball. I'm sure the fans in Seattle felt the same way when he was there. Fans in the Los Angeles area were sad to see him go. And even though he was only in Boston for 1 year, they have to think what could have been if they signed him instead of a few other people that they've signed.
Well, they have had some struggles at third base for a long time now, and certainly the idea of holding on to Adrian Beltre probably would have worked out very well. As this ball is hit high and deep to right field, it is out of here, gone. Number 16 for Rougned Odor, a 2-run shot, and the Rangers are out front first by a score of 2-0.
That looked like Rougned got an off-speed pitch that probably didn't reach the location that Doug Fister wanted it to. Stayed up and out over the plate, which is frequently the case with a home run. That's the pretty much epitome of a hanging curveball right there. It spun, but all it did was sit up on a tee for Rougned. He didn't get all of it. Otherwise, it would have gone a little bit farther than that, but he got enough of it to count for 2 runs.
And at the end of the day, that is all that matters. That is the 9th extra base hit of the series for the Texas Rangers. 6th home run. Now, they don't have a win, obviously, in the first 2 games, but they have slugged pretty well here against the Red Sox. And as we talk about slugging, of course, we're going to have to mention Mike Napoli, who was in there right now. Napoli, of course, has homered in 4 straight games. The big home run in the series opener against Craig Kimbrell. That was in the bottom of the 9th inning. That tied the game, sent us to extra innings. Gotta believe maybe one of his favorite home runs of the year. The 1-1 is rolled foul. Well, now Emily Jones has something to do. Is Rougned Odor flashing the 29?
In honor of his friend Adrian Beltre, maybe?
I'm wondering if the first time we've seen him, maybe he said we borrow Adrian's glove, as Mike Napoli hits a high pop-up right at home plate. And Mitch Moreland comes over at the very last second to catch that baseball and just kind of bump into Christian Vasquez.
Vasquez deferred to Mitch, but he didn't get out of the way.
That is part of it. I mean, this thing was a mile in the air, and you barely see Vasquez move. And at the last second, Moreland wanted it.
I mean, if you hear the first baseman yell and you stop going after the ball, get out of the way.
That is the second part of that. It's fine that you stopped chasing
What did he think was going to happen?
So Napoli is the first out of the 2nd inning, and that's going to bring up now Jurickson Profar. Profar up, as we mentioned, because Adrian Beltre, nope, Elvis Andrus is on that paternity leave list for 72 hours, the maximum amount of time that he can be away from the team, or at least as far as the team can replace him on the roster. So Profar will be here for this one, and I got to believe most likely the game on Friday against the Angels. This one is fouled into the seats on the third base side. Profar was swinging the bat well in AAA. 303 batting average, 376 on base with a couple of home runs. I think what sticks out more than anything, Tom, you've seen Jurickson Profar's career. He's done a really nice job against lefties, which is not something that we have seen necessarily from him. 421 for his left-handed pitching. Of course, when he is batting right-handed, 255 versus righties in AAA.
Yeah, and you know it's tough for Jurickson when you're going up and down and not playing every day. Darren Oliver was talking about that during the pregame show. But for the player's perspective, if that's the opportunity you're going to get, then you have to figure out a way to make the best out of it. It's just not always the case that you get a chance to come to the big leagues and the manager says you're going to play every day. Doesn't matter what you hit. Doesn't matter how you're going to do. You're out there every day. For the most part, you have to perform. And in Jurickson's case, it might be a tough assignment, but you still have to figure out a way to make it work.
And here's one line down the first base side, but foul territory.
I think it's
Profar having a pretty nice first at bat here back in the big leagues. Pitch number 7 coming next.
It's pretty safe to say that there's a lot more in the tank with Jurickson Profar than what we've seen at the big league level. And you just don't come up through the minor league system as highly touted a prospect as he was without having talent. I think the other thing, CJ, that made it hard for Jurickson is he came up as one of the best young shortstops in all of minor league baseball. But when he got to the Rangers, Elvis Andrus was the shortstop, and there wasn't the opportunity to play shortstop. So, you know, he was going to play second base when Ian Kinsler was traded to the Tigers. He got hurt and missed all that year. That might have been his opportunity to solidify himself as a regular in the big leagues. Then when he came back, he played some first base. He played all the utility spots in the infield. He played left field. And so I'm sure deep down inside might have hurt his pride a little bit to know that he was a shortstop and just wasn't getting that chance.
Another foul ball here for Jurickson Profar as he continues to put together a very nice at-bat against the veteran Doug Fister, who's making his 3rd start in the Red Sox uniform. And I believe the history between him and Dave Dombrowski is probably what led to the signing, as the Red Sox were in need of a starter as they deal with a couple of injuries. And this one is fouled straight back toward us and going to fall right in front of the TV booth. And Jurickson Profar is now going to see pitch number 11 up next here from Doug Fister.
Boy, our friend Bonnie Bell, who sits right in front of us, had that one taken right away from her by a fan who left his area. Just not fair.
And this one is dribbled down the first baseline. That one is going to roll foul. Now, based on the fact that Ruben Odor was showing us that batting glove with 29 on it with pride, I got the impression that maybe this is the first night that he has done that for some reason.
It won't be the last.
And exactly right. He may be back in Adrian's locker again tomorrow and say, hey, man, you got any more of those for me?
That would be an interesting topic for the pregame show, maybe, or for maybe even for us. Superstitions in baseball. Everybody, I would say maybe not everybody, but most players have something that they do that is classified as a superstition.
Here comes pitch number 12, and this one is grounded to Mitch Moreland. He fields it cleanly, steps on the bag, and so Jurickson Profar is finally retired. Now let's get to what matters. We have been talking about this, and we will continue to talk about electing Elvis Andrus as the final American League All-Star. You got to go to TexasRangers.com and cast your 2017 Esurance MLB All-Star Game final vote. You see his teammates out there helping, wearing those shirts the other day. And here's how it works. You can text A1 to 89269. A1, and you text that to 89269. Well, here's Jonathan Lucroy now with 2 outs. There it is right there. Text A1 to 89269. Do that right now. And here is a long fly ball hit down the left field line, where that one is going to be foul off the bat of Jonathan Lucroy. I mean, if you're wondering how easy is it to vote for Elvis Andrus, I am not a man of many talents, but call a Major League Baseball game and vote for Elvis Andrus at the same time. Jonathan Lucroy takes a fastball over the plate. That was, excuse me, off the plate. That was the 25th pitch of this inning for Doug Fister. Two misses in off the plate. Now the count runs full. It's been a leadoff double from Adrian Beltre. Rougned Odor's 16th home run. That has given the Rangers a 2-0 lead here early against the Red Sox and Doug Fister. And now Jonathan Lucroy is going to join the foul ball party. And there is a 90-mile-an-hour sinker that is called strike 3, and so now the inning is over.
After the line drive double by Adrian Beltre, the Rangers get on the board with Rougned Odor's home run to right field, a hanging curveball, front row, 2-0 Rangers.
In Arlington, the Rangers leading the Red Sox by a score of 2-0. It is ALS Awareness Night here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, and here with me is the progressive fan of the game, representing a large group. Tell me about your group.
We're here to honor of my sister, Wendy Spangler. She has ALS. We have her daughter here, Jessica, her dad, John. Many aunts and uncles and cousins are here, so we're here in honor of her. 20
strong, and she's watching at home. You want to say hi?
Hey, Wendy, we love you very much.
All right, nice. Here's your progressive fan of the game. Congratulations, you guys.
Very cool. Thank you, Emily, and we certainly hope that Wendy is enjoying the game like what she has seen so far. Can't believe she wouldn't. 2-0 lead here for the Texas Rangers on that Rougned Odor home run, his 16th of the season, and now Andrew Cashner is ready to get back to work, and it's been a good start here so far for Castro. He has sat down 6 of the hitters that he has faced. And here's a ground ball and a jerk to Profar. Go to first, and they'll make it 7 of 8.
Throughout the game, through 8 hitters anyway, there's been a lot of balls with that splat noise off the bat because the heavy sinker that Andrew's throwing has hit him off the handle, and there hasn't been much in the way of well-hit balls. So good job so far. We talked about the key for Andrew Cashner is mastering his sinker, keeping it down, and he's done a good job of that. Run the ball in on the fist several times. Hanley Ramirez, Christian Vasquez, just to name a couple.
Zhu Lin will take a first pitch fastball for a strike from Cashner. Just 10 games played for Lin so far this season. The 23-year-old's getting an opportunity to play at third base, and he has impressed. He also filled in for Xander Bogaerts at third. And even at the minor league level, this was a guy that they moved around, and you don't see that too often, right, Tom? Any guy that you're actually considering who might be part of your big league roster at some point, usually you get that guy locked into one position, especially at Double-A. But they moved him around, and it certainly seems to have worked to his advantage because he's now played some second base, some third base, some shortstop. They feel like they can put him all over the infield and the outfield if they need to in a pinch. Not that they need any outfielders in Boston.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, in the age of specialization, if you identify a player with that kind of talent that has the ability to play all those positions, and you anticipate that he might be that kind of player who could get 250 to 350 at bats by being able to play all over the field, it's a real asset. A lot of times teams go with only 3 extra players because of an added guy in the bullpen. And it's even more important to have guys that can play multiple positions. So I guess grooming them at the minor leagues makes a little bit of sense.
I would agree. Hey, let's get to our first Chevy game break. Here's Dana Larson.
Thanks, CJ, to the Twin Cities, Angels and Twins. Second batter for LA is Cole Calhoun, and he jumps all over the first pitch he sees from former teammate Irvin Santana for his 12th home run of the season. 2-0 Angels right now in the 7th inning, guys.
Thank you, Dana. Appreciate that. And so it's a 1-out walk for Andrew Kasher now, his second of the game, and lineup will turn over for the first time as Mookie Betts steps in. Betts hit that one-hop ground ball back to Andrew Kasher to start this game, and his struggles in this series continue. He came in red hot. He had the 8 RBI night, I should say day, in Toronto right before the Red Sox visited the Rangers. But so far, just 1 for 11 in this series.
You're talking about players that played multiple positions in the minor leagues. The Rangers have a player like that. He's been in the big leagues. In fact, hit his first big league home run for the Rangers, and that would be Drew Robinson, who in the minor leagues has played all the infield positions. He's played the outfield, and when he gets back to the big leagues, that may be the role that he's asked to play. You know, for all those guys, they certainly have the talent, and if required to play one position on a regular basis, a lot of them could do that. But not many players are going to argue with the opportunity to be on a big league roster because they're being asked to play multiple positions.
Well, I think it's something that we really have seen emerge in the game. Ben Zobrist kind of put that on the map a little bit. I mean, there's always been
Tony Phillips before him.
Yeah, right. Always, you know, good utility players, but now teams saying not only do we think you're a good player and you have a spot on the roster, but we'll actually pay you a little bit of money as well. Ben Zobrist has done very well for himself. As long as you can hit, they'll find a spot for you. And you've seen it, Tom. I think one of the worst mistakes you can make as a parent is to think that your kid has to play a single position, and it's usually shortstop.
Well, we all think he should play shortstop.
Yeah, and you know what? The more positions you can play, the better. The more versatility, the more athleticism that you show, a much better chance of cracking a roster.
Yeah, and a guy like Ben Zobrist, what he has shown is that he could play a number of positions, but he can also settle in one position as a regular, whether it's second base or whether it's the outfield. So if one of your key guys goes down, he's not just limited to being a utility player that plays occasionally. He can step in and play every day. And you've got a guy that's not just a third baseman, not just a second baseman. Wherever you need him, he could step in and play every day. Not a lot of guys like that.
Well, you're right. As you see Brian Butterfield, the third base coach for the Boston Red Sox, getting some agility work in.
Liked it.
I don't know how they do it. That is not a comfortable position to be in, especially after a couple of hard hit balls hitting fair territory by Mookie Betts. Here's a 3-2, and there's another ground ball hit near the third base side in foul territory. I think about, I don't know how any third base coach ever stood down there with any confidence when Gary Sheffield was hitting. Right? I mean, he was dead pull, crushing baseballs all the time, and so many of them foul.
Yeah, they feel like they want to be toward the hitter so they can wave a runner around better, but I'm starting out on the other side of third base and sprinting in and making that call if I have to. Yeah, I'd feel too vulnerable that close.
Well, 3-2 again, and this one now is hit right at Jurickson Profar. Throws to second, first. Safe, excuse me, but the throw to first, and a really nice play by Joey Gallo. And so the Rangers will not get two, not with Lynn running. But a nice job by Rudy Odor to still make that throw, even though Lynn had already gotten to the bag, and a really nice play by Joey Gallo on the back end of this. Watch Jurickson throw for it.
Yeah, it was such a hard hit ball that I think Jurickson said to himself, I might not have a good shot, but even if I don't get him, we should be able to get the ball back to first to get the hitter. Well, obviously not much of a chance at second, and the Rangers, even with a bad throw, and Joey Gallo off the bag, watch his foot.
He thought about the tag. That's pretty incredible.
I thought he did tag him, but then watching the replay, he got his foot back on the bag.
Now, Jeff Bannister decided that he was not going to challenge this, but I thought there was an outside chance that they would at least thought about that slide by Lynn. You were no longer allowed to kind of do that roll block, as they call it, and he didn't quite do it, but it was pretty close. I'm wondering if they would at least maybe consider a potential challenge here and get that double play call, but it didn't happen. So there are 2 outs here in the 3rd inning, and Dustin Pedroia steps in. You see the numbers there for Pedroia, and the Boston Red Sox in these situations have been very good. 11 for 28 with runners in scoring position this series, and that's probably not surprising when you look back and realize they've scored 18 runs over the 2 games. So I guess you still kind of mark that as a 6-4-3, even though it's no double play, right?
Just not a double play.
And there's the pitch from Castro. Fastball on the corner, lifted foul. Well, you look at Dustin Pedroia, Mookie Betts at the top of the lineup here for the Boston Red Sox. 2 guys that are very, very difficult to strike out, and you can see why. Especially Pedroia. Such great plate coverage. We have so many great hitters. We've seen Adrian do it a lot this year as well, where you're just fouling off the tough pitches. But to have 2 of those guys, the 2 toughest in the league, that makes it very difficult. But
a strikeout.
Not for Andrew Castro. He doesn't care about that stat, and so that's going to be the first strikeout for Castro as he gets a fastball by Dustin Pedroia, and it is 3 shutout innings now here in Arlington for Castro. You see the score there. You see the inning. Bottom of the 3rd. The Rangers so far off to a very nice start here against Doug Fister and the Boston Red Sox. And Joey Gallo will step in for his first at bat of the night. Take a look at the numbers for Gallo. 21 home runs for him, 41 RBIs. He has certainly done a nice job of showing the power, getting regular playing time, and go back to spring training or even before spring training. This was not anticipated. The Rangers had talked about Joey most likely starting the year in the minor leagues, but because of that Adrian Beltre injury, he's got his opportunity and he's done a really nice job. Of course, obviously, we know he'd love to see the batting average come up, but the power has been pretty incredible so far here in the first half from Joey Gallo. Fastball missing upstairs. Gallo now working the count full. Yesterday he was 0 for 1 with a walk and a strike. He came in as a pinch hitter, stayed in the game. And 3-2 swung on and missed, and Joey Gallo goes on strikes, down on strikes. The third strikeout for Doug Fister. All right, let's take a look. It is now time for the unlimited baseball break, and that's brought to you by T-Mobile. And Clayton Kershaw, stop me if you heard this before, is pretty good at pitching. 13 wins before the All-Star break. That is the most in total. Hershiser did that in 1988. Corey Kluber, we saw him when we were in Cleveland. He is pitching very well right now. The 6th right-hander since 1913. 5 consecutive 10 strikeout games.
That's pretty good numbers with those 3 guys.
I mean, it is all the pitchers all the time, and Zach Britton activated off a DL. We know how good he can be when he is on.
You know, a while back, as part of the pregame show, the pregame guys and you and Dave, I think, were asked to pick the pitcher that you felt had the best slider, and we came up with 5 or 6 different guys. But right now, after watching the highlights of Corey Kluber's last 5 or 6 starts, I might have to go with him.
That breaking ball that he throws is pretty unbelievable, and it's kind of caught in between. Like, if you just look strictly at the velocity and the break, it's like slider velocity, but it's curveball break. So a lot of times I just call it a breaking ball.
Yeah.
And here's one off the bat of Chu that is lined into right field, but Mookie Betts is the right man in the right place, and so it's 2 outs here for the Rangers at the bottom of the 3rd.
I remember as part of that show, Emily asked Mike Napoli to give the pitcher that he felt had the best slider, and he picked Corey Kluber.
It's a pretty unbelievable breaking pitch, and he has been really good as of late.
Yeah, he sure has.
He crushed it in June, looked really good against the Rangers when we were there. You should take a look at Mike Napoli. Carlos Gomez now stepping in here with 2 outs and nobody on. Gomez, as we mentioned, hitting in the 2-hole tonight. Elvis Andrus is not here, and so Gomez slid up to number 2. Second time he has been in that spot. He hits a high fly ball to deep left field, and that ball is gone. Carlos Gomez, home run number 12. When I mentioned when Carlos Gomez hits in the 2-hole, he has the 2nd highest total home runs in his career. We'll go ahead and add another one to that, and the Rangers take a 3-0 lead.
Well, Carlos gave it a ride. He struck out looking the first time up, which is unusual for him. He's such an aggressive hitter. That looked like a slider, cut fastball maybe. Intended for the outside corner, but it caught the middle half of the plate. Carlos took advantage of that location and gave it a little location of his own, halfway up in the seats in left field.
Nomar Mazara goes hacking at a first pitch here from Doug Fister. He lines a foul. The Rangers had a couple of home runs last night. That brought their total up to 128. They entered tonight's game with the 4th most home runs in the American League. And they've now had a home run in 28 of their last 29 games going back to June 4th. And also coming into tonight, 49% of the Rangers runs have been scored and come across via the home run. That was the 3rd highest percentage. Only the Blue Jays and the A's had scored more of their runs on home runs. Now it's 100% of those runs tonight. .404 feet the official distance on that Carlos Gomez home run. 106 miles an hour off the bat. The Rangers continue to put together some very nice at-bats, deep at-bats against Doug Fister. This is the 5th 3-ball count at-bat. Nomar Mazara works himself a walk with 2 outs.
Now batting third baseman, Adrian Beltre.
Well, Adrian Beltre now stepping in. He hit that double back in the 2nd inning, the 601st double of his career, tying him with Barry Bonds for 16th on the all-time list. Whoa. That's pretty incredible.
Boy, there's a stat I wouldn't have known. 51st all time with 217 3-hit games. Wow. I guess it stands to reason when you have 2,975 hits that you probably had 3 hits in a game a lot.
Carl Willis, the pitching coach for the Boston Red Sox, out to talk to Doug Fister. Did not like what he saw on that first pitch to Adrian Beltre, and it's been a strikeout and a fly out to right field to start this inning, but then it was the home run from Carlos Gomez, the walk from Nomar Mazara, and now the 1-0 count to Adrian Beltre. And 2-0 is hit high and foul behind home plate.
Well, that wasn't a 2-0 swing that was intended to be a single either.
Well, take a look here at Adrian Beltre and some company that he is about to join here pretty soon, and go ahead and put those doubles now up to 601 for him. But Tom, when he gets to 3,000, he is going to be a member of a very exclusive club.
That sure is exclusive. Hank Aaron, Stan Musial, and Yaz. And the question that's impossible to answer right now is how many more years is Adrian going to play? And when you watch him right now at age 38, there's no signs that there's a letdown. Sure, he's probably not as fast as he used to be, but his bat is. The hands are the same, the agility, the ability to make off-balance throws, all that's the same.
Beltre lays off the slider out of the strike zone now. 6th 3rd ball count here for Doug Fister. Somebody asked me the other day, do you think Adrian Beltre can hit another 50? Can he get to 500? I mean, it's kind of on him, really, as far as, I mean, he's had the Hall of Fame career already. It's just a matter of how far does he want to go. And here's a high fly ball, shallow right field. Betts is there, and the inning is over, but it is 1 run the Rangers add on, and they do it with Carlos Gomez's 12th home run of the season. We are through 3, and the Rangers lead the Red Sox by a score of 3-0. homered in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And you get a look at here Andrew Cashner, who's done a nice job so far through his 3 innings of work and going up against a very tough Boston Red Sox lineup. So far so good here for Cashner as he gets ready to face Xander Bogaerts for the 2nd time tonight. Bogaerts flew out to right field back in the 1st inning. And there's a little number to Rougned Odor. And Andrew Cashner is continuing to take ownership of the kitchens of these Boston Red Sox hitters. How about taking a trip this Friday to Margaritaville when the Rangers will host the Angels? There'll be pregame tailgate party with live music and cold drinks. Margaritaville inspired Rangers t-shirts and post-game fireworks set to Jimmy Buffett's music. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com/theme nights. Now in that situation, we've seen it pretty consistently. If you're a right-handed hitter and you're watching Andrew Cashner pound you in like that, is there an adjustment that can be made?
One adjustment is probably try to lay off it and not swing at it, for sure.
Did you ever move around in the box? Are you comfortable with guys
I was
doing
never
that?
comfortable doing that. I tried it sometimes because I saw a lot of good hitters do it and I watched them. But every time I got out of my comfort zone where I normally kept my back foot, I just didn't feel right. So I tended to stay in the same spot, which I'm not advocating. I think moving around and being in the right spot against a certain pitcher is probably a good thing. But I was never comfortable trying to do that.
Well, Mitch Moreland takes a big hack on a 2-0 fastball from Andrew Cashner, but he comes up empty. 96 miles an hour from Cashner.
He got a little more in the tank when he wants it.
It's funny, right? You can kind of go one or two ways. If you know you're going to throw that fastball on a 2-0 count, guys like Greg Maddux will take a little bit off, try to get guys out front. Will look like Andrew Cashner reach back for a little bit more. And here's a line shot right at Adrian Beltre, the only man on the left side of the infield. And Mitch Moreland is retired, and just 2 quick outs here in the 4th inning for Andrew Cashner.
Yeah, Mitch hits a lot of balls into the shift. He doesn't hit a lot of balls the other way. And so I guess if you're Mitch going back to the dugout, you're probably thinking, well, there's a time where I did go the other way. There's only one guy there, and they hit it right to him.
It's amazing. I was just talking to Dave O'Brien about this before the game, how often you see that.
Yeah.
Or there'll be one guy on one side of the infield, and yet there goes a baseball right at him.
Yeah, then the question becomes, do you just notice it more when it happens because there's only one guy there?
Probably.
And when the ground balls go by him on the other side, it doesn't register. That would be it.
Now, Hanley Ramirez takes a big swing but doesn't hit it very hard. Carlos Gomez on the run, and he makes the catch, and it is a 1-2-3 8-pitch inning for Andrew Cashner. We're through 3.5 here in Arlington. are leading the Red Sox by a score of 3-0. How about this? The Odor high five bobblehead. The Rangers are going to be taking on the Baltimore Orioles on Saturday, July 29th, and the first 15,000 fans get a Rougned Odor high five bobblehead, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Albertsons. It is the second in a series of 2 high-fiving bobbleheads. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com. And so if you've ever wanted to give Rougned Odor a high five, this might be the closest that you'll get. So make sure you're here for that one. Odor steps in, takes a first pitch fastball just off the plate for a ball. Odor hit his 16th home run of the season in his last at bat in the second inning. It's also his 38th RBI on the year. Fastball is upstairs and out of the zone, and that is now the 7th 3-ball count here for the Rangers as they do an excellent job of working Doug Fister. And Fister's got to be a little bit exhausted after seeing that. That pitch pretty much in the same spot, and it is a 4-pitch walk to Rougned Odor.
It's one of those games for Fister where he's thrown almost the same amount of strikes as balls. 34 strikes, 33 balls. So it has been a struggle, and a number of the pitches have been way out of the strike zone. For instance, the first pitch of the game that hit Shin-Soo Choo right in the back. Ball to Beltre was way up and in. There's been several others. So it's not a matter of the stuff that he has today. It's kind of the command that he has. Having a hard time throwing the ball exactly where he wants to.
Well, Mike Napoli steps in and he takes a first pitch fastball for a ball. I mentioned it earlier as far as Mike Napoli. His home run has hit a home run each of his last 4 games. We're 4 innings in now, or I should say, I guess 3.5. But for the Rangers now, they've had the leadoff man on 3 times. And that leadoff man has scored as well. So the Rangers doing a nice job all the way around here against Doug Fister, working the count, getting on base. And Doug Fister having a hard time finding the strike zone. That is now 6 straight balls here in the 4th inning. Napoli has hit 5 home runs in 5 games, or I should say he's homered in 5 straight games twice in his career. Did it in 2006 with the Cleveland Indians. He also did it here with the Texas Rangers back in 2012. If he throws a strike, I think we're going to see a big swing here. Well, that was a good pitch.
Yeah, he threw a strike, but not the one that Napa was looking for.
We know he likes the ball up, does a good job of getting to those fastballs up in the zone when they're in the strike zone. A little bit of an issue when we see some pitchers go up above the zone for Mike Napoli this year. Fister trying to work quickly, but the Rangers making it very difficult for him, and he delivers a 3-1 to Napoli, and that one is above the zone, and so it is back-to-back walks for Doug Fister here to start off the 4th inning. Hey, let's get to our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts, which are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. We were just talking about Mike Napoli, and in 2012 he joined Pudge Rodriguez as the only Rangers to start at catcher in the MLB All-Star Game. Now, Pudge did it a few more times than Mike Napoli did, as you see the Hall of Famer 9 times in his career, and Hall of Fame induction ceremonies are coming up here pretty soon. It is going to be a great event, a great class. Tim Raines, Jeff Bagwell, and of course Pudge Rodriguez. Tom, you'll be there.
I will.
That is
really
a fun
looking forward to
trip.
it.
Cooperstown in the summer is like a postcard.
Sure is.
If you haven't done it, put it on your bucket list. Do it once. This would be the summer to do it.
I tell people the exact same thing. If you love baseball, don't miss Cooperstown.
If for some reason you can't make Pudge, Adrian Beltre is going to give you an opportunity in, I don't know, another 7 or 8 years.
And if you can't go at that particular date, it's fun to go anytime up there, visit. A lot to do in that beautiful city, especially if you like to golf, boating.
Jurickson Profar squares, and it looked like he tried to pull that back or not, but it was not much of an attempt to sacrifice bunt there. It's like a throwback too, right? A little bit. It's like, not that time has stopped there, but it's just like, yeah, you know what? Life slows down a little bit in Cooperstown.
It does. You just get a real comfortable, positive feeling when you drive into that city.
There's the 0-1 to Profar. He does get the bunt down this time. Pfister fields. Now he bobbles. He's going to have to hurry. And Jurickson Profar beats it out. And Doug Pfister thought he may have had a play at third, and that was a mistake. And then he tried to change course, and he bobbled the ball, and he did not get it there in time. And Jurickson Profar beats it out, and I'm guessing that'll be maybe an error just because of the bobble.
I think Profar will probably get a sacrifice bunt. Once he looks to third and can't make the play, it becomes a sacrifice. The bobble may have allowed Profar to get to first base. We'll see how they rule that.
Yeah, that actually makes more sense. I'm sure it will go down as a sacrifice because it was an excellent sacrifice bunt. And so it is a sacrifice with the error.
Yeah. One of those times you hit a ball, bunt a ball, it's an error, but you don't get an at-bat because you get credit for the sacrifice.
So that means the bases are loaded now for Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy struck out looking back in the second inning, something we don't see very often at all from Jonathan. He does an excellent job of putting the ball in play, but we saw Doug Pfister paint a pitch down and away to Lucroy to finish that at bat. And here is one driven to right field. Betts is going to get there, makes the catch, and it is an easy tag for Rougned Odor. So it'll be a sacrifice fly for Jonathan Lucroy, and the Rangers lead now 4-0.
Well, first thing you have to do is make contact. Hopefully stay out of the double play. Get the ball up in the air. And I think with Betts, it was interesting to see if he tried to throw that ball, but maybe because he was running towards center field, he just didn't feel like he could make a strong and accurate throw. And in that case, made the wise decision to just hang on to it, not risk a bad throw.
21st RBI for Jonathan Lucroy, and with one out now, Joey Gallo steps in. Gallo takes that big hack on a two-seam fastball away and comes up empty. He struck out back in the third inning after a lengthy at bat in which he ran the count full. And here is one ripped into right field for a base hit, and it'll get down, but Mike Napoli is going to stop at third, and so it is a one-out single for Joey Gallo, and the bases are loaded again here for the Rangers.
That would have been a ball that he would have been able to throw on. Ball hit off the end of the bat, but Mookie Betts would have fielded that on the dead run, not that far away from home plate, so probably a wise move to hold Napoli at third base.
Well, lineup turns over now for the third time here for the Texas Rangers. You see Chu 0 for 1 was hit with the first pitch of the game, and he flew out to right field in his second at bat, and he'll take a breaking ball down for a ball. This will be the 109th plate appearance for Chu with the bases loaded. He does have 3 grand slams. So how about this? He is a .356 hitter when the bases are juiced. Pfister has really pitched himself into some trouble. It was back-to-back walks to start this inning, just falling behind the count pretty consistently. Now he is down the count 2-1. Shoot. Scott. Up now for the Boston Red Sox and trying to get ready in a hurry. Two-one, and that one is up and in and almost catches Chu again. Chu didn't like the 2-0 call either.
No, and generally that call doesn't go against Chu. When Fister's throwing well, he throws a lot of balls to left-hand hitters that come back and catch the inside corner. He's trying to do that today. He's just not being successful with it.
And the 3-1 swung on and fouled back, and the count now will run 3-2. .33-year-old Doug Fister is making just his third start here for the Boston Red Sox, and he is now in the 10th 3-ball count of the night. And here's another foul ball. You take a look, and Tom, you mentioned it, nearly 50% on the balls and strikes so far for Doug Fister. Not where you want to be, and it's.
No, he's not the kind of pitcher that is normally in that situation, ball strike wise.
And here's one hit to deep center field, but plenty of room for Jackie Bradley Jr. Mike Napoli will score easily. Profar will go to third. Joey Gallo will stay put. And I don't know if there's a record for the most sacrifices in an inning, but that's 3 now for the Texas Rangers. The sac bunt for Jurickson Profar, the sacrifice fly by Jonathan Lucroy, and now that sacrifice fly to center field.
Yep, good execution by the Rangers this inning.
I mean, it can't be more than 3, right? Because obviously you have to make an error to even get to 3 sacrifices. I got to believe we just tied a major league record. I'm not going to look. I'm just going to throw it out there. I mean, research, and I know.
I guess you could have more if you get sacrifice bunts with errors where no one is out.
You just keep piling them up.
You couldn't have 3 sacrifice flies.
Sounds like something Charlie Brown.
Well, no, you could if the guy, because you can get credit for a sacrifice fly if a guy drops the fly ball and gets an error. So we're gonna have to sit and think about that one a little longer.
We'll get somebody on. Steve's not doing anything, so we'll get.
There might be no limit.
I mean, sure, you could have
if they keep
kicking it around.
Inconceivable, but if they keep missing them, I guess you could get sacrifices.
We'll call it unofficial.
That would be a bad inning to call, though.
And Carlos Gomez takes a big hack at an 0-1 breaking ball.
How about this one from our guru, Doug Foster? He said, no, I can't even remember the team that it was. There was the 62 White Sox had, I believe Doug said, correct me, Doug, if I'm wrong, 3 sacrifice flies and a double play in the same inning.
So they couldn't field the sacks, but they were able to turn the double play.
3 sacrifice flies and a double play in the same inning. Wow.
And here's a hard ground ball hit to the right side. That's going to get through for a base hit. And Carlos Gomez will have his second hit of the night and second RBI as Jurickson Profar comes across, and that is the 6th run here for the Texas Rangers, and that is going to do it. Doug Fister's night is over.
Good execution this inning by the Rangers. Rangers look in this inning like the Red Sox have looked in the first 2 games, getting the job done.
It'll be Robbie Scott pitching the 3rd time in this series when we get back.
At Globe Life Park in Arlington. Rangers leading the Red Sox in the finale of this 3-game series 6-0. And it is time for our State Farm winning combination. And tonight we focus on a guy who is combining the mental and the physical, specifically here at home. Carlos Gomez's numbers unbelievable here at Globe Life Park, and they are continuing here tonight. Already a home run and a single in this game. Talking about the mental aspect of it today, he said, look, this is the end of a 20 games in 20 days stretch. This is not a time for us to lay down. We cannot do anything about the rough patch that we've hit. The only thing we can do is come out of it. He said this is the time when you find out what you're made of as a team. And he said we've got 4 games to do something before the All-Star break, and it's time to start tonight, guys.
Thanks, Emily. And that is an excellent point.
Yep, very well said
from Carlos Gomez. A little warm here in Texas. Team has been playing well, and you start thinking about the All-Star break, and it can be very easy to mail it in. And you do find out about yourself and what kind of character you have. And now Nomar Mazara steps in with the Rangers leading 6-0 against the new Red Sox pitcher Robbie Scott. This is the 3rd time now that Scott has pitched in this series. He threw just 6 pitches in game 1, but 27 pitches today. And I got to imagine that John Farrell has him in there just to try to finish off this inning.
Numbers for Robbie Scott this year: nice ERA, pretty good whip, maybe a few too many walks. You've seen him in both games.
Scott has been very good against left-handed hitters this year. Not surprising when you see that arm angle. We've talked about him both nights that we have seen him, but a 118 batting average against left-handed hitters this season. He's also done a very nice job with his inherited runners. He's taken on 27 of those inherited runners this year. Just 6 have scored, so a 22% inherited runner score rate. Also very good. He's got 2 that he's going to try to strand here for Doug Fister. It's so tough lefty on lefty, as you get a nice view here from our booth in High Home, and a little bit of a cooler night. Cool might be the wrong word to use, but not hot maybe is a better way to describe the temperature here. But it's been a good night all the way around. The Rangers are swinging the bats well after a 1 hour and 26-minute rain delay. Nomar Mazara chases the breaking ball from Scott, and the inning is over, but not before the Rangers add 3 more runs here in the bottom of the 4th. Top of the 5th inning here. You see the score. The Rangers leading the Red Sox by a score of 6-0. And the Rangers and Dr. Pepper are teaming up to save you money. Bring a Dr. Pepper can to the box office or use the online coupon code Dr. Pepper to get tickets starting at just $13. Visit TexasRangers.com/specials to get your tickets for this Sunday when the Rangers will play the Angels. We certainly do appreciate fans waiting out the rain delay. It certainly does appear that most of them have a good crowd here as Andrew Cashner gets ready for now his 5th inning of work, and Andrew Benintendi takes a first pitch fastball called strike. Well, it took almost 20 minutes to get through that half an inning. We'll see if that has any effect on Andrew Cashner, who's been throwing the ball extremely well tonight. And is now ahead of Andrew Benintendi, who could not hold up on that pitch. 0-2. Cashner coming right back with the fastball in the middle of the plate on the 0-2 count. Benintendi fouls it off. Now, we had mentioned 6 straight plate appearances for Andrew Benintendi with a base hit. He walked in the 2nd inning, so it is at least 7 straight plate appearances where he has reached base. But a very nice series here against the Rangers, and he fouls off another 0-2 pitch.
That's a case on an 0-2 pitch. The pitcher coming right after the hitter. Not necessarily trying to waste one, but trying to throw a quality strike, and it was. Benintendi fouled it off, but that didn't foul off the good part of his bat. That would have been another weakly hit ball by the Red Sox if he put it in fair territory.
And Benintendi is down on strikes as Andrew Cashner elevates the fastball.
Speaking of poorly hit balls, let's take a look at our AT&T high-speed replay. Sometimes you think you have to have a lot of strikeouts to have a dominating performance, but when you watch the contact that the Red Sox have made and see those balls weakly hit off the handle, even though there's only been 2 strikeouts, you can pretty much say through 4 1/3 innings, this has been a dominating performance by Andrew Cashner, and that was our AT&T high-speed replay.
You're absolutely right. You see
watch
the
those
numbers.
and your hands hurt after watching that.
6 groundouts, 5 flyouts, just those 2 strikeouts, as you mentioned. But that has not been Cashner's game this year. All about the weak contact, and he certainly does appear to be locked in here this evening. Very good pitch count for Andrew Cashner as he gets ready to deliver his 58th pitch of the evening here in the top of the 5th. And Jackie Bradley Jr. takes a changeup for called strike 2. Bradley just 3 for 12 in this series, has scored a couple of runs, hit a solo home run as well. And you see those season numbers, 284 coming into tonight with 11 home runs, but a very nice 366 on base percentage. And the 1-2, and it's another foul ball off the bat of Jackie Bradley Jr. And that's going to bring us to our. It's not going to bring us to anything. We're going to have to wait now. It's the greatest tease ever. You thought I was going to say something fun and exciting. Steve's all worked up over there. He's like, "What were you going to say?
Save
What were you going to say?"
We're all waiting now.
Don't worry about it, Steve. You guys are just going to have to wait it out. It is going to get very exciting though here pretty soon. I'll leave it at that. And the 1-2, and it is called strike 3. And Andrew Cashner with back-to-back strikeouts after painting a fastball in to Jackie Bradley Jr. And the moment you all have been waiting for, it is the power stats, and they are brought to you by Kubota. And let's talk about Andrew Cashner because he's having a nice night, but overall he is having a great season. How about that 0.61 home run per 9 rate? That is 5th best in the major leagues, excuse me, American League, among all pitchers with at least 40 innings. He just has not let up the long ball this year. Andrew Kasher has done an excellent job, and so that is our Kubota power stat. You see Andrew Kasher this inning, 10 strikes to just 2 balls. Now, as we see a line drive up the middle, but Rougned Odor is there. He catches it on the short hop over to Joey Gallo, and it is another 1-2-3 inning for Andrew Kasher. He has thrown up 5-0 so far against the Boston Red Sox. Here we go, and you see that hit counter now, 2,975 career hits for the great Adrian Beltre, just 25 away from joining that exclusive 3,000 hit club. And he steps in against Scott and takes a first pitch breaking ball. I'm surprised Scott's back out there. I thought this looked like that was one of those situations where you use a guy who's pitching a 3rd day in a row just to finish the inning, and then maybe you go over to your long man, but that's not how John Farrell's playing it.
Nope.
Especially a sidearm, right? Because you're thinking this has probably got to be somewhat of a potentially lengthy outing.
Yeah, he's probably looking at his bullpen and saying, in this kind of a game, he's hoping not to use Kimbrel, Kelly, and maybe Hembree. Boyer pitched a couple of innings last night, so he's maybe going to stretch each guy a couple outs more than he normally would tonight to get through. Now, obviously, if the game changes, those guys are a little bit more in play. The Red Sox are playing a lot of games over a long period of time, not much in the way of an off game.
And that ball hits Adrian Beltre. Boy, you could see that coming, couldn't you, Tom?
Yeah, I like Adrian picked that ball up, just tossed it back to him, and went to first base. That one had to hurt too.
To the left knee against Adrian Beltre, and plays it off and say, hey, here's your baseball that you errantly threw and hit me with.
I would say Adrian Beltre is probably one of the players in the league least likely to inspire an opposing pitcher to want to throw at him.
I would
for
agree.
The way he plays the game.
Sure.
I can't imagine him doing something that would cause a pitcher to say, you know what, I'm going to throw this ball at you.
Rougned Odor now steps in against Scott, and it's been a good night so far for Odor. He's 1 for 1 with a home run. He walked back in the 4th, but it was his 16th home run that he hit back in the 2nd, a 2-run shot. And you're right, but can you imagine if your manager came to you or something happened and, you know, somebody hit your star and say, hey, you got to go hit, you got to hit Adrian Beltre. You're probably thinking, Adrian, can I hit somebody else?
Anybody else?
Yeah,
I can't do it to him.
Odor ahead in the count, 0-2. And there's a pitch, and that pitch now hits Rougned Odor, and his reaction not nearly as friendly as Adrian Beltre's was, and Odor very unhappy with that pitch that got away from Scott in the 2-0 count.
Yeah, and you know, in this situation, Scott's just struggling right now, and he's not showing any intent to do this. But at the same time, if you're the Rangers, you say to yourself, well, fine, whether he's doing it on purpose or not, it's happening. So either get him out of there or we're going to take exception to it. And where that ball hit, that's the danger area right there. And, you know, Ruby's throwing his bat, not because he got hit, but because that hurts. And it's right in the wrist. And so many times you see a hitter come away with a broken bone by being hit right in that area.
That is now 3 hit batters by Red Sox pitching. It was Chu to start off this game, and now back-to-back hit by pitches. Adrian Beltre and there Rougned Odor as he's taking a look, and there looks like there may be a little bit of swelling in the left part of that hand. You mentioned it, Tom. Whenever you see guys get hit there, we see it a lot. It always makes you have a little bit of a cause of concern. I'm hoping it's nothing significant. Well, Mike Napoli now steps in with a couple of runners on and nobody out. And there is nobody warming in the Boston Red Sox bullpen right now. The only pitcher we have not seen so far in this series out of that bullpen is Fernando Abad, excuse me. Everybody else down that pen has pitched at least once. Robbie Scott is the only one that has pitched in both games and now in all 3. And this one is lined foul. We talked about good matchups for Mike Napoli, a sidearm lefty who is probably a little tentative about throwing any fastballs in or anything else. Doesn't want to get too close to Mike Napoli. Well, now Abad gets up and starts throwing in that Red Sox bullpen. But I got to believe as a hitter, you're digging in right now knowing if this guy hits you, it's on. He's probably scared to go inside to any hitter right now. And Napoli hits a high fly ball in the right field. Mookie Betts with plenty of room. Beltre's going to tag, and here's the throw to third, and he is there in time. Odor stays at first. And how about now we get to Dana Larson and check in and get a Chevy break.
The shortstop, Jurickson Profar.
Colorado starter John Gray helping his own cause, a 467-foot 2-run home run, first of his career, offering his evidence that pitchers are athletes too, right, CJ? 4-3 Rockies in the 7th right now.
Definitely don't resemble that remark at all as far as pitchers being athletes, but how cool is that for John Gray? I mean,
you know, watching him run around the bases, he looked like a hitter.
That was an absolute bomb. Put that on my list of things I cannot do, never could do. Prime, out of my prime, doesn't matter. Very impressive. A line shot in the right center gap, and that ball is going to get down, and Jurickson Profar is going to go for extra bases. Beltre scores, Odor scores, and it is a 1-out, 2 RBI for Jurickson Profar. and the Rangers now lead 8-0.
Well, that's a good feeling for Jurickson to get the opportunity to play with Elvis on paternity leave. And in the ball game, he's gotten down a sacrifice bunt in the 3-run 4th inning. And now in the middle of the 5th inning, gets a fastball out over the plate, and that's a nice at bat. Haven't seen him drive the ball with that kind of authority to right center field like he did in that at bat. Great job by Jurickson.
Great approach to the sidearm lefty, and the Rangers really starting to blow things open here now in the bottom of the 5th inning. That is the first double for Jurickson Profar. And Jonathan Lucroy now steps in with 1 out and Profar at second. And breaking ball, and it's a 1-hopper to Xander Bogaerts. Backhands, throws to first. And Jonathan Lucroy is retired. 2 outs now here in the bottom of the 5th inning. There is Fernando Abad as he begins now warming up. And Pete Kozma is now in to pinch hit for Joey Gallo. Find out exactly what's going on.
Yeah,
Joey Gallo.
Yeah, generally the way this game's heading, if it keeps going in the Rangers' favor, Pete Kozma might have been the kind of guy that came in for Adrian Beltre later in the game to give him a couple of innings off. But this early in the game for one of the young guys might indicate there's something going on with Joey. We'll have to check that.
Scott misses away again, and Pete Kozma up in the count 2-0. And here's the ball hit off the end of the bat, but Mookie Betts recovers, makes the catch, and the inning is over, but not before the Rangers score 2 more runs, and they come via the double off the bat of Jurickson Profar, the first of the season for him. Brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now during the Ford Summer Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Well, here we are, top of the 6th inning, and the Rangers taking a commanding lead so far here against the Red Sox. And we saw Pete Kozma come in and pinch hit for Joey Gallo. He will stay in the game at first base, and as soon as we hear something, we certainly will let you know. Now, Joey missed a couple of games on June 24th and 25th with some hamstring soreness. We do not know if this is related to that, or we'll find out soon enough. But Andrew Cashner now getting back to work here in the 6th. Been a good night so far for Cashner. 5 innings, just a couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. Count even now 1-1 against Lynn. Fastball up and away at 95 miles an hour from Andrew Cashner. We've seen some good velocity from Cashner so far to this point, touching 96 miles an hour earlier in this game. He was very strong tonight as Lynn fouls off another one. Zhu Wei Lin, 23-year-old, got called up from Double-A. The Boston Red Sox were having some issues at third base, and then Xander Bogaerts needed a couple of days off. And he's done a very nice job, and we believe that they'll probably pursue a third baseman, but at least in the meantime, Lynn's giving him something to think about as he's getting some consistent playing time. And he will go take a seat after Andrew Cashner pumps in a 2-2 fastball for a strike, the 4th strikeout of the night for Andrew Cashner.
Yeah, 3 of the last 4 hitters have struck out, and Andrew's starting to locate that inside pitch that comes back and catches the plate. Very tough pitch. The left-hand hitter thinks it's inside, and you can just see it in the movement. A lot of movement on that ball going left to right. And when it's all over, it's a definite strike to a hitter that didn't think was going to be anywhere near the strike zone.
Cashner now quickly ahead of Mookie Betts, 3rd time around in the order now here for the Boston Red Sox. Betts grounded out back to Cashner in the 1st inning, and he hit into a 6-4-3 non-double play as he lines one foul.
Boy, I hope he got out of the way of that one.
In the stands.
And we saw Adrian Beltre struggle to catch a ball hit like that, and he's the best fielder, one of the best fielders in baseball. Well, as a fan, all you can hope is that you're able to get out of the way of that.
Well, you see the box score there for the Boston Red Sox. A big 0 for so far through 5 1/3. It looks like we'll give that fan just a little bit of time before play resumes, which you certainly like to see. He's walking out, so
I'll tell you what, he's walking out.
serious.
That ball, that had to hurt. Hopefully it was a glancing blow.
And here's the 0-2 from Cashner, and it is lifted to center field. Carlos Gomez back, continues to go back at the track, and he makes the catch. And a nice play by Carlos Gomez on a ball that was well hit to center field by Mookie Betts. And there are 2 outs now here in the 6th.
You know, you can go back to a ball game in this series on a very similar ball where Carlos got turned around, came back, and then the ball sailed over his head. This time he played it perfectly. Turned his back to the plate and got back and caught the ball. The other one carried a little bit farther and he wasn't able to get it. That time he did.
So good play by Gomez, and now there are 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. And Dustin Pedroia steps in. Pedroia 0 for 2 with a ground out to first and a strikeout. The strikeout in the 3rd inning was the first one of the night for Andrew Cashner, who now has 4 strikeouts to go along with 2 walks.
You mentioned that Mookie Betts was 1 for 10. He's 1 for 13 now. But in this game, all 3 balls he hit have been ropes. He hit the 1 hopper back to Cashner to start the game, where Andrew made a nice play. Then he had the ball, it turned into a 6-4-3, not a double play, but it was a smash at Profar, and then that line shot to center.
Well, there's the ground ball to Jurickson Profar, and Pete Kozma cannot hold on to it. Cosmo just came in to play first base for Joey Gallo, who left with what we will presume is injury. We have not heard anything yet, but he pinch hit, and we'll see which way this thing gets called. But it was a routine ground ball. Jurickson Profar made a good play. Nice easy hop, and the throw sailed a little bit. But certainly a ball I believe that Pete Cosmo believes that he could have caught.
Yeah, now if you're a first baseman and you say where's the perfect throw, you'd like to have it right in the middle of your chest, but at the same time I'm sure Pete would say exactly what you just said.
Cosmo has just 5 innings played at first base, and so even though he is a utility man, we don't see him at that position very often. Mostly shortstop, second base, and third base we've seen here with the Rangers this year. But just his 5th game played in the 6th inning now, out at the first base position over the course of his major league career.
There's been a lot of balls, fair and foul, in this game that have not been hit hard, where Andrew has pounded the ball in the good part of this pitcher's strike zone and ended up hitting the bat off the end occasionally, but most of the time it's right off the hands.
It did go down as an error on Pete Cosmo, so the inning is extended. And by the way, yes, Devin Marrero came in to pinch run for Dustin Pedroia, so his night is over. Andrew Cashner is ahead of Xander Bogaerts here 0-2. And here's a ball that is hit high and deep to left field, and it is gone. 2-run home run for Xander Bogaerts, which breaks up the no-hitter that Andrew Cashner was working on. It also makes that shutout disappear. And on an 0-2 count, Andrew Cashner sees his bid for a no-hitter go away on Xander Bogaerts' 6th home run of the year.
Yeah, that's a nice job by Bogaerts, because that's where Andrew has been pounding the ball. Might not have got it 0-2 exactly where he wanted it, but it was not a bad pitch. It was tailing in. Maybe a strike, maybe a little bit inside, but Bogaerts is a good hitter. He's a 300 hitter. Gets his 6th home run. Nice job of hitting right there by Bogaerts.
And Mitch Moreland swings and misses at a first pitch fastball up and away. He said it, 6th homer, 41st RBI. There was a lot made of Xander Bogaerts' slow start in the power department. This guy's a very good hitter, but the home runs have not been there, and Mitch Moreland now lines one to center field. Carlos Gomez will let that ball bounce in front of him. And it's back-to-back hits now against Andrew Cashner, who went 5 2/3 without allowing a hit. And Jonathan Lucroy out there to talk to him now, and just get him refocused and trying to get Andrew Cashner through this inning. Now the 2-out error by Pete Cosmo, for what it's worth, makes the 2 runs unearned. Any other run in this inning would be unearned at this point. Well, Hanley Ramirez now steps in. Ramirez 0 for 2, and he takes a first pitch fastball called strike. Real quick, just to finish up on Bogaerts, and off to a really slow start from a power standpoint, especially through the first couple months. This was a guy who did hit 21 home runs a year ago. It was a career high for him, and so I think the expectation in Boston was that they would see some improvement on that. He's still only 24 years old, and a good hitter. But I don't think I want him changing his swing very much, as Hanley Ramirez Lifts a lazy fly ball to left field. Nomar Mazara is there. He makes the catch, and the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Rangers lead at 8-2.
One right after the other.
It is time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Today's jackpot is worth $400 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Today the Rangers are hitting for Deborah Gale Bellion of Southfield, Michigan. If a Texas Ranger hits a home run during this inning, she will win $400. And if a Texas Ranger hits a grand slam, well, Deborah Gale will win $25,000. And Deborah, if I said your last name wrong, just send your complaints to me at Twitter. It's at Dave Raymond. I promise you I will give you an apology, personal apology. All right, new pitcher here for the Red Sox. As you see, Shin-Soo Choo getting ready to hit. And it is indeed Fernando Abad, making his 27th appearance of the season.
Having a pretty good season. Nice ERA. And 2 lefties in the Red Sox bullpen.
So you see Devin Marrero staying in the game. He will go to third base. And then we saw Lynn, who was originally playing third, will now slide over to second. We did get word on Joey Gallo. He left with soreness in the area of his left hamstring. There will be further evaluation. I'm sure you'll hear a lot more about that from Jeff Bannister in the postgame. And a good looking breaking ball from Abad to Choo, count even 1-1. I mentioned Abad has not pitched yet in this series. Pretty decent fastball for a lefty. It'll sit at 92 miles an hour. Curveball at 77. He'll also throw that changeup, especially to righties, that sits around 79 miles an hour. Fastball that just misses off the plate. Choo, as we mentioned, 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning, flew out to right. He also got in the sacrifice party in the 4th inning. He was the 3rd sacrifice of the inning for the Rangers. Now, unofficially, and I'm going to say unofficially because it was internet source, this ball is lined into the right field gap, and it is going to get down. And Choo is going to be aboard with a stand-up double to lead off the 6th inning.
Turn that ball around off the lefty. see where it was.
Center fielder Carlos Gomez.
Down the middle of the plate, it looked like. Quick short swing by Chu. First hit of the night, although he does have a sacrifice fly and reached on a hit by pitch.
Carlos Gomez now will step in for the Rangers. It has been a good night for Carlos. Made a nice play in center field. He's also 2 for 3 with a home run, a single, a couple of RBIs. That was his 12th home run of the year that he hit back in the 3rd inning off of Doug Fister. Now to finish that thought real quick, and I say unofficially because that's not an easy thing to search, but Emily sent this to me from David Lowe via Twitter and said that it is last time that we saw 3 sacrifices in 1 inning is when the Astros did it against the Texas Rangers in 2005. Chan-Ho Park took the loss in that game by a score of 3-2. I'll take that for what it's worth, which is not a ton, because it is unconfirmed.
Well, I can't prove that he's wrong.
That's one way to look at it.
And generally speaking, if someone's going to make the effort to get that message to us, they haven't just tossed it out there. They've researched it.
With good detail, too.
Yeah.
Good detail. That is the record. 3 sacrifices in 1 inning. So the Rangers apparently have tied. That is Carlos Gomez. Fouls one off the right side. Two runs on 2 hits for the Boston Red Sox. They've also made an error in this game. 8 runs on 7 hits for the Rangers. They also have made an error. Andrew Cashner had taken a no-hitter 5 2/3 before he allowed a home run to Xander Bogaerts, and Carlos Gomez goes down on strikes against the bot. Well, Saturday, August 12th, we honor Hall of Famer Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. Get to the ballpark early for a special pregame number retirement ceremony. Plus, the first 15,000 fans receive a Pudge Rodriguez Hall of Fame bobblehead, courtesy of Powerade and Walmart. Get your tickets now at TexasRangers.com/Pudge and witness history. So with 1 out, Nomar Mazara now will step in here against Abad. About as good splits, not surprisingly, against lefties. 177 batting average against left-handed hitters. 266 against righties so far this year. Not a huge strikeout guy, less than 6 strikeouts per 9 innings. League average ground ball rate at 44%. He has induced 3 double plays so far this year, but with Chu at second base, that is not going to happen. And Chu with a monster jump as he steals third base completely uncontested, and Abad just was not paying attention at all to Chu. He will stroll into third base with the bag. Watch this right here. My goodness.
That's a pretty good jump.
If you like stealing bases and being safe, that is a fantastic jump by Chu. 7th stolen base for Chu. He's been caught stealing just twice this year. And here is a tapper hit up the middle. Nice play by Xander Bogaerts. Spins and throws to first.
Third baseman, Adrian.
Because the infield was in, Chu was unable to score. Let's take a look at the box score tonight here for the Texas Rangers, and you see it up and down the line. Nomar Mazara, Mike Napoli, Luke Roy, and Pete Cosmo came late. The only ones without hits so far, but big night for Carlos Gomez with his couple of base hits. Adrian Beltre is 1 for 2. He had a double back in the 2nd inning, flew out in the 3rd, and he was hit by a pitch. He has scored 2 runs this evening. And he takes a first pitch strike from Abad. Low breaking ball. Oh my.
That might have hurt if Adrian swung at that one. It's not quite an Ephus pitch.
It
but
almost looks like one,
pretty
right?
close to it. Just didn't go high as some of them. Velocity-wise, what was it? 61 miles an hour.
That's incredible. I guess they call that a changeup.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do and to sell that pitch, right? With the arm speed as a hitter, usually if a guy slows his arm down, you can pick it up pretty easily.
Yeah.
On that one. And Adrian Beltre pops one up behind home plate. This will reach the stands. Count remains 1-2. Well, there they are. All the hits for Adrian Beltre. 1,888 singles. He hit his 601st double tonight. 36 triples and 450 home runs. He's down to the count 1-2 to Abad, and he fouls another one off.
I think the one thing as time goes on that the Rangers are going to want to do is to develop a lineup so that the guys hitting behind Adrian offer him a little bit of protection. Coming into this game, in 6 out of his last 7 plate appearances with men in scoring position, he's been walked. And for him to get pitches to hit with men in scoring position, then I think it's important for the guys hitting behind him to be in the kind of groove where they don't want to walk Adrian because they don't want to face the guy behind him.
And on the 7th pitch of the at-bat, Adrian Beltre hits a hard line drive, but Xander Bogaerts is there, and the inning is over. So a leadoff double by Shin-Soo Choo does not turn into a run. We'll go to the 7th here in Texas.
Take a look at our Ford game summary and look at the job that Andrew Kashner has done today. He has struck out 4 in the game, but probably more importantly, he's knocked the bat out of the hands of about 15 Red Sox hitters today with that great fastball that he's had, great movement on it. You see the weak contact, you see the strikeouts. Had a no-hitter through 5 2/3. Ended up giving up a home run and a single in the 6th inning. Both of the runs, though, were unearned. Rougned Odor has a 2-run homer and has scored 3 runs for the Rangers. Good game for the Rangers. After a tough one yesterday, they come back with a nice lead, 8-2. Some good offense and excellent pitching from Andrew.
Yeah, he has been solid, and now we have some defensive changes that we're going to report here. And you can see Robinson Chirinos has taken over for Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate. Jonathan Lucroy has taken over for Pete Kozma at first base, and Pete Kozma has taken over for Rougned Odor at second base. So some defensive shuffling here for the Texas Rangers as we are now in the top of the 7th inning, and Andrew Cashner just misses on that 2-0 fastball to Benintendi. Now Cashner has got 3 wins on the season. In every one of those wins, he has thrown 7 innings. And the run support hasn't been great for him this year as Benintendi looks at a 3-0 fastball, called strike 1.
And before the game, when we do our pitch arsenal for the pitchers, we mentioned that Andrew Cashner, coming into the game, had thrown 59% fastballs. And today he's had such a good fastball that coming into this inning, he has thrown 86% fastballs. It's higher than that now because all 4 or 5 of those pitches were fastballs too. So you can tell when a pitcher is really feeling it out there when he has upped the percentage of fastballs by 25%. And the reason he's doing it is because he's had a good one. Both velocity, movement, and location have all been there for him tonight.
And he is one of those guys that can certainly get away with that when he is on, filling up the strike zone the way that he has. And that is the 3rd walk for him, 2nd to Benintendi, by the way. Well, Jackie Bradley Jr. now stepping in here in the top of the 7th inning. He's 0 for 2, line out, strikeout. Punch out came in the 5th inning when Andrew Cashner struck out Benintendi and Bradley back to back. But I mentioned the run support for Andrew Cashner. It has not been particularly strong for him this year. Just one of those things we talk about it. There's nothing to it. His teammates don't dislike him or anything like that. It's just been some bad luck here for Andrew Cashner as Jackie Bradley Jr. fouls one off. Count now goes to 1-2. But that run support average, and there's different ways that it's calculated depending on what website you look at. I mean, it's really unbelievable depending on where you go. But he has the 8th lowest run support average right now among American League starters. And Jackie Bradley Jr. gets that ground ball just foul. Lucroy, by the way, you see him there at first base. No stranger to the position. He's played 295 innings out there at first base. 46 games. 35 of those that he has started. So some flexibility in Jonathan Lucroy. What you can do with him defensively. Obviously, primary position will always be behind the plate, but in a pinch like the Rangers are in tonight, you can put him out there at first base. And there's a ground ball off the glove of Cosma, and ball kind of whipped around and came back into the infield. Almost looked like a highlight move.
That would have been some kind of double play if Pete was able to keep that ball in his glove, because as tough a play as it would have been in his glove so quickly that there's no way Jackie Bradley could have beaten the throw back to first base. It just didn't quite stick in Pete's glove, but that's the only play you've got on that. You obviously can't get in front of it. You don't want to. You don't have time. You take a stab at it, and he almost came up with it.
Well, it was crazy to think too, right? You see that shoot off his glove. What if he actually just happened to throw that with his glove to second base? Now that would have been fantastic.
Even better if he highlighted it to second and they turned it. That would have been right up there with an all-timer.
Well, it is a base hit, and so now it's runners at first and second with nobody out here for Christian Vasquez, who's grounded out a couple of times tonight. And I'm sure Andrew Cashner would love to get another one right now and potentially get himself a double play. Well, Matt Bush now up in that Ranger bullpen. And has thrown the ball very well since he has been removed from that closer role. A couple of outings for him. Has looked really sharp. And here is a line shot down the left field line. That's going to go foul, reach the seats. The count now 0-2. Vasquez displeased with himself, so he hits himself in the head with his bat. Really, who among us, right? Hasn't done that a couple of times. And there's an 0-2 foul ball. I don't know, Tom. Again, it seems like one of those nights. Andrew Cashner's pitching great. A lot of 0-2 strikes and foul balls, and it seems like when he gets way ahead, he's not messing around.
No,
he's going right at guys.
Yeah, and he's not just throwing the ball down the middle of the plate for the sake of throwing a strike. He's throwing a quality strike on those 0-2 pitches. And, you know, if you're throwing 93, 94 miles an hour with that kind of movement, why not pound the strike zone for a good strike?
Not messing around. That certainly has helped his pitch count as well tonight, which has helped him get deep in this game. But he is now getting ready to throw number 98. That is now back-to-back 0-2 strikes. Take a look at what Andrew Cashner has done by inning, and all pretty solid. Now you see that 6th inning where got himself into a little bit of trouble. There was the error, then the home run base hit that followed. But overall, it's been a very good night here for Andrew Cashner.
And he's right at, again, 86% fastballs tonight. And generally in the course of the season, you don't see many games where any pitcher throws that percentage fastball. Starting pitcher for sure.
By the way, we did get word on Rougned Odor. He left the game with a hand contusion after he got hit by that pitch. X-rays are negative,
good.
So that's certainly some good news.
Yeah, that's a tender spot right there, anywhere around your hand, your wrist, and he got hit solidly.
And another foul ball. Andrew Cashner continues to grind here against Christian Vasquez, who's about to see the 7th pitch of this at bat, but the count's only 1-2, and so is Cashner now up into the triple digits, dealing with Vasquez, and Vasquez is making him work.
Earlier in the season, one of the Oakland pitchers, can't remember which one it was, seemed like he threw over 90% fastballs. They were great sinking fastballs that day.
What's his name? Triggs? What's the?
No, it wasn't Triggs.
Oh, really? Because he throws a ton of fastballs.
It was.
Oh no, Kendall Graveman.
Yeah, Graveman.
Yep.
Yep.
I remember watching that game.
Yep.
They were doing that game, and that's a guy that really has come to the conclusion that I got a pretty good sinker,
yeah.
And why throw anything else?
Yeah. Yeah. First 3 or 4 innings of that game, it seemed like he threw like 25 out of 27 pitches were sinkers.
That pitch misses away, and so now the count is full to Christian Vasquez, and Robinson Trinos wants to go out and talk to Andrew Cashner. As you see, Cashner in some uncharted territory for him this season. The previous high was 99. Well, that new high now is going to be at least 103. I'm sure Jeff Bannister would love to try to get him through this 7th inning, but I got to believe it's getting pretty close here for Andrew Cashner. Curious what that conversation was about, because I got to believe it's a fastball here, 3-2 count, up by 6. And it is, and here's a ground ball hit to Pete Cosma. He's going to go ahead and tag Jackie Bradley Jr., throw to first, and Vasquez is out, and it is a 4 unassisted to 3 double play, and a very nice play by Pete Cosma. Now Jeff Bannister, I got to believe, is wondering, okay, got the double play you were looking for. Let Andrew Cashner try to finish the inning.
Yeah, you'd love to see Andrew be able to be rewarded for his outing tonight by finishing the 7th inning, and certainly this play is going to help. Jackie Bradley ran into that tag, and Pete completes the double play. So that was a big pitch right there. Long at bat, but it ends in a double play. Now if you can get Lynn right here, be a great outing for Andrew. End up with 7 innings and no earned runs if he can get him right here.
Well, all the way around, you certainly love the idea of Cashner being able to finish this inning, and then maybe giving Matt Bush a nice clean inning to deal with after the fact. But regardless, it has been a strong night here. Well pitched game for Andrew Cashner. 6 2/3 up to this point. 2 runs, none of which are earned. 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. Zue Lin 0 for 1. He had a walk in the third. Started out tonight playing third base and has since slid over to second. And the 2-0. Another foul ball. Two 2-1 just misses downstairs. Count now 3-1. Robinson Chirinos did everything he could to try to get the call from home plate umpire Bruce Dreckman, but he wasn't biting. See that call, Tom, and Robinson Chirinos very happy with the location. He wanted that ball in, and that good move. It still leaks over the plate a little bit, but it does appear, we can only kind of tell from the outside, and you're guessing always a little bit, but fastball seems to still be coming in pretty heavy.
Yeah, sure does. And just like the last couple of games, it sure seems like the Red Sox are one of those teams that spoil a lot of pitches and hit a lot of foul balls.
Well, they have made Andrew Cashner work certainly very hard to this point, but he has done a nice job, and here comes his 110th pitch of the night. And it is lifted to center field. Carlos Gomez has got a beat on it. He hauls it in, and the inning is over. But a very nice night for Andrew Cashner. 7 innings in the book, 2 runs, none of which are earned. Handshakes and hugs all the way around for Andrew Cashner, who was fantastic in this game tonight. We'll go ahead and make the assumption that his night is over. Now for the Red Sox, they're also going to move on, and Keith Hembree now coming out of their bullpen.
I saw Hembree the other day airing it out in the mid-90s, so he's got a great arm. I would have to classify that, if not Andrew's best start of the year, very close to it for a lot of reasons. For number one, the tremendous fastball that he had tonight, his two-seam fastball, the performance, but also who he did it against. And look at how hot the Red Sox have been. They've won 6 straight, 8 out of 9. They're averaging 7 or 8 runs per game over that time. And so to shut them down in kind of dominating fashion like Andrew did tonight was a superb effort on a good night to pitch.
Oh, absolutely. It was an hour and 26-minute rain delay. TCU night here at the ballpark. And Robinson Chirinos now will take his first at bat of the night after entering the game.
Andrew, a prominent Horned Frog alumni. Jamie Dixon, the basketball coach, threw out the first pitch of the game. Good way all the way around for the Rangers and the Frogs.
Chirinos takes a big swing at a fastball, comes up empty. I mentioned the 3 wins for Castro this year, or the 3 games in which he has gone 7 innings. Well, he goes 7 innings tonight, and in line for winning, finally getting some of that run support that he has been waiting on. So it's been a good night all the way around. Both sides of the ball here for the Texas Rangers as we're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Doug Fister started it for the Boston Red Sox, but he struggled. Just 3 2/3. 5 hits, 6 runs, 4 of those were earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, a couple of home runs, 1 to Rougned Odor, the other one off the bat of Carlos Gomez. Fastball just misses, 97 miles an hour from Hembree. He wanted that call. And there's 96, swung on and missed by Robinson Chirinos, so he'll go down on strikes. That's the first out here in the 7th inning.
Check out Rougned Odor's night. We got the hanging curveball from Doug Fister, and there's the arc, and there's the landing. Front row. Ooh, he got an error in the stands. And then a high inside fastball from Robbie Scott, and you could see where that hit him, kind of underneath on the inside part of the wrist. And he's not as mad at the pitcher as he is for just how that hurt. Very tender spot. Fortunately, the X-rays were negative. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Doesn't mean it might not affect him in the short term. Fortunate that nothing was broken. So many times that's not the result when you get hit there by that kind of a fastball.
And Mike Napoli hits one deep to left field, but Andrew Benintendi is going to be there. And 2 outs now here in the 7th inning.
Yeah, Napoli had a home run in 4 straight games, and he didn't miss that one by much. He just a little bit out in front of it, hit it a little bit toward the end of the bat. Didn't get that same effect as the ball jumping off the barrel of the bat, but he had the swing, had the pitch, just didn't quite get it.
And now with 2 outs and nobody on, Jurickson Profar will step in. Profar 1 for 2 tonight, hit a double, 2 RBI double back in the 5th inning, and I mentioned it already as he takes a first pitch strike from Hembree. Profar getting an opportunity. Elvis Andrus went on the paternity leave list, so that means that the Rangers can replace him on the roster for up to 72 hours. Now it's an off day tomorrow, so we keep hearing 72 hours. So it doesn't mean 3 games. It means 72 hours. So that means tonight's game, it's an off day tomorrow for the Rangers, and then Friday's game, and at that point they could no longer use a substitute player. We'll kind of hope and assume that Elvis Andrus will be back by Saturday, hoping everything goes well for him and his wife. And Profar drives one to right field, and Betts jumps and then falls down, and Profar is going to go around second, and he's going to hold after a big aggressive turn. Jurickson Profar has his 2nd double of the night.
Well, that was a great throw too for Mookie Betts. If he did go to 3rd, he would have been out. It looked like Mookie Betts trying to make a spectacular play. Wasn't playing that deep. It was a line shot right over his head. Looked like he might have jumped a little bit soon for that ball. Let's take a look. It's over his head. Does he have a chance to catch it? I don't know if he had a chance anyway, but he gave it a great effort. Nope, just couldn't quite get there. It didn't matter. Takes a header, but he comes up strong charges after that ball and then launches a perfect throw to third base. A one-hop line shot to third. That was pretty.
Second double of the night, second double of the season for Jurickson Profar. And that'll give Jonathan Lucroy an opportunity to drive him in here with 2 outs.
Nice to see Jurickson come up for this game and have this kind of a game. He's got the double left-handed. He's got one right-handed.
Well, you could speak to this a lot better than I could, but from the outside and watching Jurickson Profar last year, he got that opportunity during the Rougned Odor suspension. Played well.
Yeah, he did.
During those 7 games, and that basically bought him more time here on the Ranger roster. And not that we want to jump ahead of ourselves too much. Looks like it'll probably only be 2 games that he'll get a chance to play in, but hit 2 more doubles on Friday. Might give Jeff Bannister something to think about.
At least you make it, you know, it might have been, it's kind of thing where maybe when he got here, it's 2 days, but you hit 3 or 4 base hits, knock in a few runs, and then at least they have to think about it. And it boils down to whether it's better for him to be here, maybe not playing every day, or to continue to play in Round Rock and play every single game. That's a decision that the front office for the Rangers would have to make.
Well, even though Elvis Andrus is not here, the very similar Elvis Andrus smile is from Jurickson Profar. So the smile differential has remained about the same, even though Andrus is away with his wife Corey right now. And here's the 1-2, and Jonathan fouls it off to the right side. Speaking of Elvis Andrus, you got to make sure that you go hashtag elect Elvis. We want to get him to that All-Star game. He certainly is deserving. And how do you do it? Well, you got to text A1 to 89269. That'll get Elvis to the All-Star game. He is in that final vote right now. 4 other American Leaguers. Mike Moustakas is in there. Xander Bogaerts, Anderson Simmons, and one other person I cannot remember. And the 1-2 swung on and missed. And that is going to do it for the Rangers here in the 7th inning. 8-2. The Rangers are leading the Red Sox. Brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcom to learn more. Well, it is 8-2, and we are in the top of the 8th inning. And this Saturday, the Rangers will be taking on the Angels. That game is going to be at 8:05 p.m. And we're going to go retro on that Saturday for Turn Back the Clock night. The first 15,000 fans 14 and older get a Mike Napoli powder blue replica jersey. That'll be courtesy of Fox Sports Southwest and Southwest Airlines. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS.
Matt Bush for the Rangers. Look at his pitch arsenal. Almost 70% fastballs, and it's a good one. averages out in the upper 90s. Has a really good slider and throws at 91, 92 miles an hour. And a curveball that's a good curveball as well. Good assortment of quality pitches.
No doubt. A plus arm. Matt has been taken out of the closer's role, and he's pitching back-to-back games as he gets a first pitch pop-up here from Mookie Betts. Chu's coming on. He'll call off Cosma, and he will make the catch. Well, let's get to Dana Larson for our next Chevy game.
CJ, thank you. Former National League foes, the Astros and the Braves. George Springer breaks up the 4-4 tie with an RBI base hit. Houston's top 3 hitters were a combined 8 for 15 with 6 RBIs and 6 runs scored. Houston goes on to win by a final of 10-4.
Well, we're certainly sorry to hear that bad news. Devin Marrero now steps in against Matt Bush, and as we were talking about Matt Bush out of the closer role, it's been just a couple of outings. I don't know, Tom, if you can make much of it, but he's thrown the ball well.
I think he can make something out of it because, as you well know, as a pitcher, when you've struggled a little bit, to have a couple of nice dominating outings at least starts to restore your confidence, which can go a long way toward improving your success for sure.
He's faced now 8 hitters. It's been 2 1/3 innings since that change in role. He's retired 7 of the 8. So we will see. You mentioned the great stuff, the great arm. As there's a ground ball hit to second base, Pete Cosma fields it cleanly and over to Jonathan Lucroy for a second out of the inning. Well, Emily has got something for us on Matt Bush.
Yeah, just along the lines of what you and Tom were talking about, this coaching staff, they need for Matt Bush to be back in the mix. They need for him to be big at the back end of the bullpen. So the outings that he's had since being taken out of that closer role are definitely an encouraging sign. And as he continues to hopefully have those results, they'll put him in more high leverage situations because they feel like they're going to need him sometimes even in that closer's role. So they've got to build him back up to get to that point.
Yeah, I think it's a good one too, Tom, and thinking about the good arms that the Rangers have in the bullpen. I know the bullpen has been an issue this year. We don't hide from that, but think about Jose Leclerc and you think about Jason Grillish. You see him right there. You see Kella down there as well. He's on the DL right now, but you think about him, Matt Bush, all guys that can close. And so maybe Jeff Bannister decides that, you know what, we'll play matchups or hot hand or whatever it may be. And there's an arm that certainly Ranger fans would like to see. Jake Diekman is here, and he has got it on his calendar. He did a Facebook Live today before the game, and I was down there with him, and he was talking about how he's been told he's allowed to throw a bullpen after the 19th, so he's already penciled it in. He's throwing one on the 20th.
That's great.
And so that is certainly some good news. You see Tony Burnett and Alex Claudio there.
Yeah, and you add Jeremy Jeffress to the list, who has been a closer in Milwaukee. He's got the experience for that.
Well, the pieces are there. I mean, you know, as far as getting things back together here in the bullpen, it's not like you're looking around going, man, you know what? We don't really have the arms for this. No, the Rangers have the arms for this. It's just finding the consistency. I got to tell you, we talked about it a little bit. I do love the idea of Jason Grilli being down there now, and you see him.
Like you said, he's Italian. He likes to talk. That's what he's doing right now.
He's not using his hands right now. Well, Matt Bush now has worked himself to a 2-2 count here against Xander Bogaerts. He retired Mookie Betts and Dustin Pedroia. Betts, by the way, now 1 for 14 in this series after coming in red hot. And there's the high fastball at 99 miles an hour, and Xander Bogaerts goes down on strikes against Matt Bush. And so another nice clean inning here for Matt Bush as he rears back the four-seam fastball up under the hands. Xander Bogaerts, no chance. and you see that score. The Rangers beating up on the Red Sox 8-2, just 3 hits for the Red Sox. But how about Friday? Next game, it'll be coverage starting at 6:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Southwest. Albert Pujols and Adrian Beltre, 2 of the great active players that we have right now. When you look at where they are on the hits list, Adrian with a nice, comfortable lead against Pujols. Well, those guys will go head-to-head, so that'll be a fun one to watch. A couple of solid right-handed hitters in that one, and we look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. And who let that policeman in here? That is, I don't want to date myself. I know I can't do that with you, Tom, but if I say, some people listening, if I say, you know, looks like something you see from Chips, some of us know what we're talking about. That is a sweet stash. That is Cole Hamels, in case you don't recognize who that is. And now, so I was not in the clubhouse today, but I have a really important question for Cole Hamels. One of which, is that going to be there tomorrow? Will that ferret on his lip be there tomorrow? It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm assuming that's Cole Hamels. Kind of mostly looks like him.
It's a pretty good look, I think.
That is fantastic. Matt Barnes now is in here for the Boston Red Sox. You see the season numbers for him. This will be his 39th game pitched. So Barnes in the first game, he threw just 9 pitches in the opener of this series. And there's a breaking ball that is hit to the third baseman Marrero, over to first to Mitch Moreland, and Pete Kozma is retired for the second time tonight. Well, don't forget, it's baseball's biggest summer event. Make sure you catch baseball's biggest stars at the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. Central. That is next Tuesday on Fox. And that one just misses Chu. Now, it's been 3 hit by pitches tonight. Franchise record is 4. Let's go ahead and leave that record alone. I don't think that's one necessarily that Chu or anybody else that's has to hit this inning would be very interested in taking a part of.
It's nice to see the Rangers bounce back with a good game today after the first 2 games. First game against the Red Sox was a great game. Went into extra innings. Rangers came back and tied it. Yesterday got away early. Red Sox had a big game. Today the Rangers trying to close out a nice game of their own.
And really avoiding that season series sweep. It's only 6 games that you play against those American League East teams, but I certainly like to see the Rangers get at least 1 win out of those 6 as Chu grounds out to second base, and there are 2 outs now here in the 8th. Well, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Homes for Our Troops, building mortgage-free, specially adapted homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Learn more about how Homes for Our Troops is rebuilding lives and visit foxsportsupports.com. Well, Carlos Gomez now steps in with 2 outs in the 8th inning. It's been a pretty good night for Carlos. Couple of hits, home run, single as well. He struck out a couple of times. Alex Claudio looks like he will be coming on to pitch the 9th inning for the Rangers. We haven't seen Alex in a while. So the last 3 days off. Last time we saw Alex pitch, that's when he threw the 2 1/3 innings against the Chicago White Sox, and he actually pitched the day before that as well. So Jeff Bannister wanted to give him a rest. He has given it to him. And it appears that he will enter this game and try to finish things out for the Rangers and Andrew Cashner, who is in line for the win. 2-0 to Gomez, swung on and missed. 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Matt Barnes. He's got a good one. Outside of Craig Kimbrell, Matt Barnes has the second highest strikeout rate in that Red Sox bullpen. 11.3 per 9 coming into tonight. And there is a high fly ball hit into shallow center field. Bogarts is back. Bradley comes on. He makes the call and he makes the play. And so the 8th inning is finished, and we will go to the top of the 9th with the Rangers leading 8-2.
Away from ending their 3-game losing skid and ending this series on a winning note. Dana Larson here reminding you we'll have Rangers Live presented by Frontier Communications coming up right after the game. Darren Oliver, Mark McLemore are here with me. We'll talk about the tremendous start from Andrew Cashner, and Jurickson Profar coming up big as he filled in for Elvis Andrus tonight. We'll have lots of analysis and reaction from the skipper and in the clubhouse. That's all coming up right after the game. For now, though, let's get it back to CJ and Tom, guys.
Thanks, Dana. We appreciate it. And as we suspected, Alex Claudio will enter the game here for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, probably with one of the higher percentages of changeups thrown. 60% sinkers and a lot of changeups. And I guess if you had his changeup, you'd throw a lot of them too. That's his pitch.
It is a good one, and he uses it very well to neutralize those right-handed hitters. And Jeff Bannister, I got to believe, has as much confidence in Alex Claudio as any other reliever in that bullpen, despite the fact you look at the velocity and you say, well, it's only 86 miles an hour. We just saw Matt Bush throwing 99. Well, Alex has been very good for this team. He really has emerged for the Rangers coming out of that pen.
Now, he leads the Rangers in appearances with 37. Looks like Matt Bush is next with 32 coming into the game, so it's 38 and 33 now. So he's been up and ready to pitch whenever needed, and sometimes it's a short outing. He's started a game, and frequently it's multiple innings. So done a great job.
And there is that changeup at 69 miles an hour. Not afraid to throw that pitch to left-handers either, which is a little bit odd, but we've seen him strike out Bryce Harper. We've seen him strike out Lucas Duda with that very good changeup, and you're talking about some pretty good left-handed hitters with some power. Alex now ahead in the count, 1-2. And not just that it's such a great changeup, but the way that he disguises the rest of his pitches off of that changeup. That fastball at 87 miles an hour, but you just got done looking at a 69, 70 mile an hour changeup. You come back with 87. That ball's going to jump on you a little bit. And the 1-2 swung on and missed. It was a slider from Alex Claudio, and Mitch Moreland is down on strikes for the first out here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, a sweeping breaking ball from way down in the side. It started out near Mitch's waist and ended up outside. And just tell by the way Mitch swung at that what a good pitch it was.
Well, Sam Travis now in to pinch hit here for the Boston Red Sox, and he'll be taking over for Hanley Ramirez. Travis takes a 1-0 fastball. And there's another fastball, and that one is fouled to the right side. Now Alex Claudio quickly ahead 1-2 against Sam Travis. And there's a ground ball to Jurickson Profar. Fields it cleanly over to first, where Jonathan Lucroy catches it. And now 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Let's take a look at the schedule leading into the All-Star break here for the Texas Rangers. A series with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim coming up. You'll see coverage starting at 6:30 on Friday, 7:30 on Saturday. That's a later game, and that'll be 1:30 on Sunday. All those games will be on Fox Sports Southwest. Should be a fun series leading into the break. Well, Andrew Benintendi goes swinging at the first pitch, and Pete Kozma fields it cleanly over to Jonathan Lucroy, and this ball game is over. It is a final 8-2 in favor of the Texas Rangers. As you see, Carlos Gomez there had a nice night. Hit his 12th home run of the season. Ruben Odor, it is 16th, but it was all about Andrew Kashner, who picks up his 4th win of the season. He was excellent in his 7 innings of work, and so the Rangers managed to salvage a win. The season series with the Boston Red Sox is over. They win the last game and the only game against the Red Sox this year, but this was a very nice victory. Let's take a look at Carlos Gomez's evening, Tom. It was a good one for him.
Yeah, it started out with a strikeout, but it got much better after that. He takes the hanging breaking ball from Doug Fister and hits it halfway up in the seats in left field for a home run. The following inning in the 4th, takes an outside fastball, does an excellent job with it, hits it sharply into right field. That scores Jurickson Profar. So he had a couple of hits in the game, knocked in a couple of runs, made a nice play in the outfield, provides the usual energy that he brings to the table for the Rangers. Had a good game along with most of the other of the Rangers. Nice ball game to win against a team that was really hot in the Red Sox.
Absolutely. It was a great night for Carlos Gomez and the Rangers, and now Emily Jones is down on the field.